All right, this is a reaction from NightCap, and this is actually a response video to the video I made earlier in the week about Shannon Sharpe's response to the standards of Lamar Jackson compared to Josh Allen and Joe Burrow.
Now, we're going to say, well, if Lamar Jackson don't win, well, that's fine and dandy. No. And the reason why I don't, and many others don't hold Burrow and Josh Allen and other quarterbacks to Lamar because they don't have MVPs.
Yes, and that's the part I disagree on. You and others may have that opinion. That's not the opinion that I personally have. Respectfully, I think they do a great show. I love Shannon Sharpe, former Raven. I love Chad Ochocinco. But at the end of the day, just because you don't have an MVP does not necessarily mean that you can't be held to the same standards as an MVP. And here is why. Let's start off with Joe Burrow, for example. Here are Joe Burrow's numbers since he came into the league in 2020. And I've also put beside the Bengals record. All right, we're not going to count 2020. I put that up there, but he was hurt. They were 4-11. The rebuild was just beginning, and they didn't have Jamar Chase at that point. Let's look at 2021. They went 10-7, right? 10-7. They lost the Super Bowl. All right, they got to the Super Bowl. Look at Joe Burrow's numbers in 2020 and 2021. 34 touchdown passes, 14 interceptions, a 108 quarterback passer rating, and a QBR of 60. That sounds pretty good to me. Okay, let's see if he can duplicate that. 2022, following the loss in the Super Bowl to the Rams, they followed up with a 12-4 campaign. So meaning their team was good. They were in contention. They went to a Super Bowl. Then the following year, they were 12-4. Solid record. Went to the AFC Championship game and lost to the Chiefs. Okay, right? Joe Burrow that season, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, a 100 quarterback rating. Was a little bit lower than it was last year, but another 60 QBR. Sounds like elite numbers to me. Do people not consider Joe Burrow elite? I hear it all the time. Joe Burrow is an elite quarterback. All right. Last year, 9-8, Joe Burrow got hurt. He only played 10 games. 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 91 passer rating, 52 QBR. He was hurt, had some bad games in the mix of all that. This year, Joe Burrow, even though the Bengals are not good this year, 39 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, a passer rating of 108, QBR of 74. All right. So you tell me why you don't judge them differently because they don't have an MVP. Because this to me sounds elite. You went to a Super Bowl, you lost the Super Bowl. You went the following year to an AFC Championship, you lost. And in this year, your team defense is terrible. But Joe Burrow is an elite quarterback. An elite quarterback. Lamar Jackson is an elite quarterback. At the end of the day, whether you have an MVP trophy or not, if you are an elite quarterback, you don't get a pass for why you have not won a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow is in the same predicament as Lamar Jackson, other than the fact that he's went to a Super Bowl. You're talking about your legacy or your career is defined by Super Bowls because you have an MVP. Well, I can say the same thing about Joe Burrow because he went to a Super Bowl, meaning he was a good enough quarterback to get his team to a Super Bowl. He was good enough to throw damn near 35, 34 touchdowns. He's going to have 40 this year. 4,000 passing yards in 3 of the seasons that he was healthy. Elite numbers, elite quarterback. But yet we're not going to hold him to the same standards of not winning a Super Bowl because he doesn't have an MVP. Just tell me where that makes sense. That an elite quarterback, if Joe Burrow goes the rest of his career and not win an MVP, but puts up numbers like this, and he doesn't win a Super Bowl, you're telling me that he won't get held to the same standards when he's an elite quarterback? I still don't hear an argument for that. Is that we're just trying to poo-poo the fact that Joe Burrow is not an elite quarterback? If I had to rank them, Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow in that exact order, and 2, 3, and 4 are neck and neck. You know, Patrick Mahomes is up there because of the Super Bowls and the numbers. But 2, 3, and 4, Lamar, Josh, and Joe Burrow, all elite quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson just happened to be a little bit better than the other two. because he wins the MVP. Doesn't dismiss the fact that the standard should be the same way it is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's getting criticized because he has MVPs but doesn't win a Super Bowl, but these guys get a pass. Okay, fair enough. Let's get to Josh Allen. Josh Allen, 2020, and this we're just doing since when Joe Burrow came into the league. All right, because we already know Lamar Jackson had a 14-2 year in 2019, and Josh Allen was playing. They came in the same draft. All right, Josh Allen, 13-3, right? 2020, lost the AFC Championship game. Mind you, he's never been back to an AFC Championship game since then. So him and Lamar Jackson have reached the highest plateau, which is an AFC Championship game, and they both lost to the same exact team. All right. 2021, you went 11-6, lost to the divisional round. 2022, 13-3, lost to the divisional round. Last year, 11-6, lost to the divisional round. And this year, you are 12-3. We don't know what happens this year. All right. So you can clearly see that his team is always in contention. AFC Championship, divisional games. The only reason why he wins more playoff games because Lamar Jackson usually when he's healthy gets a first round bye, which is the reason why he doesn't get a lot of those first round matchups where he could probably beat people. He's had a first round bye. So Josh Allen has never had that before. So he gets that freebie win. Well, I ain't gonna say a freebie because no game is a freebie, but he's usually favored in that wild card game. So he gets that win on his belt. Anyway, Josh Allen since 2020, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, a 107 passer rating, 75 QBR. He also had 421 rushing yards. 2021, 36 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, 92 passer, 66 QBR. He also had 760 something yards rushing. 2022, 35 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 96 passer rating, 73 QBR. To go along with another 700 yards rushing. 2023 last year, 29 touchdowns, 18 interceptions, which to me was his worst year statistically. People were talking about he should have won the MVP. That was his worst year. Out of all the years I just mentioned, that was his worst year. Less touchdowns, more turnovers. I mean, granted, he did have 15 rushing touchdowns, but he turned the ball extremely a lot. Anyway, 92 passer rating, 70 QBR. And this year he's having a great season, 26 passing, 6 interceptions, 11 rushing touchdowns. So make it make sense, Shannon Sharpe and everybody who has this argument. This is another elite quarterback that does not get held to the same standard as Lamar Jackson. Meanwhile, he's reached the same plateau as Lamar Jackson, AFC Championship loss. Is Josh Allen not an elite quarterback? Josh Allen gets a pass because he doesn't have an MVP? He's damn near in the MVP running every year. Look at the numbers. These are elite numbers. He's throwing 4,000 passing yards every year since 2020. 4,000 passing yards to go along with another, at lowest, 400 rushing yards or more. This is elite quarterback numbers. But yet, Lamar Jackson is the only one that's going to get judged heavily because he doesn't win a Super Bowl. He just said it in the clip. The reason why we don't scrutinize Josh Allen, Joe Burrow like we do Lamar Jackson is because he doesn't have an MVP. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous when they're damn near putting up MVP-like numbers. Just because you don't win the MVP does not mean that you're not elite. You still have to get held to the same standards. I still don't understand the argument that you're making. Just because you have a piece of hardware, once you win the MVP trophy, you're held to a different standard. I can understand that. But it's not like these other quarterbacks that I just ran through don't have comparable numbers. Lamar Jackson is just a different animal. But these guys are definitely right there in the same tier bracket. Anyway, let's continue.
Once you get an MVP, you're you looked at differently.
Right.
He gets looked at like he wins a Super Bowl. He gets judged just like my homeboy. He gets judged just like Brady, just like Manning, just like all the other great quarterbacks that have multiple MVPs and a Super Bowl. Yeah. That's only right. I think the thing is
of course you want to get judged with those guys, but that doesn't mean that other guys that put up elite numbers don't get judged in that category too, just because they don't have an MVP. You know what I'm saying? Like all those guys should be in that category.
when we try to explain things to people, people don't see. They'll take.
I mean, look at the numbers that Drew Brees used to put up back in the day. Drew Brees, how many MVPs does Drew Brees have? He still should be considered. He should still be up there with the criticism of other guys that now Drew Brees won a Super Bowl, but Drew Brees was putting up elite numbers every single year. You know what I'm saying? And had he not won a Super Bowl, he should be criticized just like anybody else. Like the Aaron Rodgers of the world, who has all those MVPs and only one Super Bowl.
A clip, and because a lot of times people use clickbait because if they got my face, they got our face up there, or NightCap said something, and they frame it in a negative light. Right. They don't even listen to it.
No, I'll say this. In terms of the video I made using NightCap's response, I would never try to do nothing like that in regards to twisting the narrative. But when you say that a person gets judged differently because of MVPs and totally disregarding his competition as if they are just chopped liver, like those guys aren't right there with Lamar Jackson, that's where the response came from. And so I thought it was a good talking point to debate about, and we took it and ran with it.
I've said I don't believe Lamar Jackson's career is a failure if he doesn't win a championship.
Well, I think we all can agree with that. I don't think no one is going to ever consider Lamar Jackson's career a failure. I mean, he's going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. By the time his career is done, he's going to be top 4, top 5 all-time quarterbacks, maybe even the best quarterback of all time. So we'll never say, just off of his statistics and his resume, that it was a failure. I think we all know that. I don't think no one is out there saying that. I mean, that's stating the obvious. No one is saying his career is a failure. What we're saying is that you're not judging his contemporaries, who are also elite, just like Lamar Jackson, the same way, because they don't have MVPs, even though they're putting up elite numbers, 4,000 passing yards, 35 plus touchdowns, and Josh Allen to give you 500 rushing yards or more. They're not getting held to the same standard, but Lamar is, because he got an MVP.
But there've been 9 guys to win 2 MVPs. Every last one has won a Super Bowl. Guys, people say Aaron Rodgers has underachieved with 4 MVPs and 1 Super Bowl. So what do you think they're going to say about Lamar if he has 3 MVPs and no Super Bowls on his resume when he retires?
I mean, here's the thing. They're going to say something about Lamar Jackson regardless. They've been saying something about Lamar Jackson since he's been in college. He can't throw from the pocket. He's an athlete only. He's a running back. He should change position. Running back, wide receiver. I mean, the narrative about Lamar Jackson is always going to be there. It's always going to be something said about Lamar Jackson. That's just how the career of Lamar Jackson has been. Lamar Jackson has proved year after year after year, of all the doubters and all the naysayers, that you're wrong about your assessment and opinion about Lamar Jackson. And his play on the field and his progression over the years has proved that. The goalpost is always going to move for Lamar. So that point about, what are they going to say? They've already been saying stuff about Lamar. If he wins the Super Bowl, the narrative is going to be, well, can he win it again? Is it possible he can do it again? Was it a fluke? Can he do it again? You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be something. Now he's passing from the pocket. You know what I'm saying? Now people are saying that the stats don't matter when it comes to MVP. Like, there's always going to be a goal. I'm waiting to see what happens next. The narrative is always going to be there about Lamar Jackson.
If people believe Aaron Rodgers has underachieved with 4 MVPs and 1 Super Bowl, Ocho, what will people say about Lamar if he has 3 MVPs and no Super Bowls when his career is over?
Well, people talk about Aaron Rodgers, and I think Aaron Rodgers should have more Super Bowls, but that doesn't deny the fact that Aaron Rodgers is an elite talent. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't deny the fact that Aaron Rodgers is a GOAT, and he's going to still go in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, should he have more than 1 Super Bowl? Yeah, sure. If Lamar Jackson goes his whole career and doesn't win 1 Super Bowl, are we going to be looking like, yeah, damn, he should have won a Super Bowl? Of course he would. But that doesn't deny the greatness of Lamar Jackson, and there's still no excuse to give his contemporaries a pass because they don't have an MVP on their shelf. I still don't think that's really what my point comes down to is let's not dismiss the other quarterbacks that are playing at an elite level because they don't have the hardware. They're damn good too.
You have to be able to not be a fan. understand the politics, understand what comes with the game when it comes to the totality and the resume and the entirety of someone's body of work. And the requirements to be talked about in elite.
Yes.
Groups.
Yes.
You got to win. You got to win a trophy. You got to have one. You need something. At least one of them, especially when you're.
I mean, a quarterback can be elite without winning a Super Bowl, though. I mean, that does exist. I mean, the Super Bowl adds to the resume, but the Super Bowl is a team accomplishment. It's not a quarterback accomplishment. I mean, that's just what it is. Like an MVP is for your individual work that you do as a solo player. Of course, you need your teammates to catch the ball and whatever, but a Super Bowl is a team award. You can have a great offense, but if your defense stinks, if you score 30 and in the Super Bowl and you give up 40, you did your part. But the defense give up, you know what I'm saying? It's a team sport.
Great as you are in the regular season.
Look, you got to take black and white out of it. I know everything. We want to make a lot of things we want about racism.
Yeah, well, I'll say for myself, I definitely don't come from a race standpoint. I do know arguments that do involve race, but this is more about the product on the field, the talent on the field. Joe Burrow and Josh Allen are just as talented. They have the resume, the numbers. Joe Burrow went to a Super Bowl. Josh Allen's lost a conference championship. Lamar Jackson's lost in a conference championship. No one's won a Super Bowl out of the three of them. But yet we're not going to hold the same standard because they don't have MVPs. Even though, how did Joe Burrow? If you look at how Joe Burrow got to the Super Bowl, was it because of Joe Burrow? It was. Joe Burrow was the reason why they got there. If they didn't have Joe Burrow, they would have never beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Joe Burrow is the reason why they beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead that time.
But we can't do it in this situation because we have 9 guys that have won at least 2 MVPs. Every last one has won an MVP, a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So now,
okay, and that's cool and all. That's cool and all. That, I mean, that's a fact, but that doesn't diminish the fact that other guys should get a pass because they don't have MVP trophies. I mean, anyway, comment what you guys think below. That's my debate rebuttal to that. Let me know what you guys think about the unfair standards that Lamar Jackson and criticism that Lamar Jackson gets, while his contemporaries who are elite quarterbacks, they don't get those same level of criticism for not winning a Super Bowl. The only person that wins Super Bowl in the AFC is Patrick Mahomes. So Josh Allen and Joe Burrow are losing to the same quarterbacks that Lamar Jackson is losing to. There's one guy that's stopping them. It's like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan stopped a lot of people from winning rings. Does that diminish the fact of those other guys? Like a Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley is one of the top 30 players of all time. He doesn't have a ring. Does that mean he's not good? No. Michael Jordan was the one that was just dominating everybody in the 90s. Almost the same thing here. Patrick Mahomes is literally dominating everybody. And, if the Ravens get over the hump, they get over the hump. But let's be real here. Anyway, it's your boy, Retro Recap, Double R Reacts. More reactions coming soon. Peace.